All right, let's get right into it. Today we're going to be discussing the five nevers of Uber. The five nevers of Uber. That's right. So, in my experience driving for Uber, I've discovered five things you should never do as an Uber driver on the road. And never, when I say never, I mean like you should never ever do these things, or else you'll either get a 1-star rating or possibly get your eventually your account shut down. So, and I've discovered this through my own experience, and I've made we all make mistakes as people, and us Uber drivers, we make mistakes, and we have to learn from them, or else we will we will lose our account based on the rating system. So that's what this video is about. So let's get into it. So the first thing I've got here is you never want to bring up politics and religion during your ride, because I know that people can get pretty heated about their beliefs, and you're an Uber driver. You're there to get them from point A to point B. You're not there to be an activist. And if that's the kind of person you are, maybe this job, and you have a hard time controlling that, maybe this job's not for you. Because in Uber, if you were to do that every day for every driver, eventually, what's going to happen is the people that you're doing this with, they're going to give you 1 stars, and eventually, if you were to keep on doing that, you would lose your account, because people are trying to get to where they want to be without being harassed about their beliefs and their politics. And I have my own personal beliefs, but I don't let that interfere with the everyday lives of other people. So that's really important to understand, that you just cannot go out and promote your beliefs in the ride. If the customer starts to do it, and you don't feel comfortable, you can say, I'm an Uber driver. I don't feel comfortable talking about that right now, and that's acceptable. And if they give you a 1-star rating, that's fine. I mean, you did the right thing by getting your point across, and you can they can take it up with Uber on that note. So that's number one. Number two is you never want to start a trip, or even start Uber for that matter, with your gas tank on empty or close to empty. And I know that seems kind of trivial, but actually, as you're driving, you sometimes kind of lose track of time. And if it's a really busy day, a really busy night, you can lose track of what your gauges are doing, and where your gas is. So even sometimes your gas. So if you see your gas gauge going down, if it's on and the empty light comes on, you need to shut off your Uber for now, and then go get some gas, because you do not want to be caught in a situation where you're driving, you pick someone up and you're going out to a 30-mile out trip, and then your car shuts down because you didn't have gas. And that, one, creates a hazard for the customer, which is bad for your account, and two, the customer will give you a 1-star rating because you failed. Obviously you deserve that, because you're obviously not professional enough to understand what your gas gauges is doing. So so the third thing here is you want to try to never hit your brakes too hard, and that is something I'm actually discovering recently. Customers do not like when you brake hard, and I know there's certain situations where you have to, like some idiot comes out in front of you, cuts in front of you, yeah, that's fine. But if you're just driving around normally, there's really no need for you to brake hard. And I know there's probably some people have what call a lead foot, and so they maybe push that pedal a little too hard, and that'll actually affect what the customer feels about the ride. I mean, if they feel the jerks of the car too often, at the end of the ride, they'll remember, oh yeah, that guy it felt kind of jerky at times, and they'll have a report back saying that, yeah, that guy broke too hard, and he gives you 1 star. Yeah, customers will do that, 1 to 2 to 3 stars for that. So yeah, the smooth ride aspect is so important, because and it actually makes or breaks whether or not that customer thinks you're a professional or not. Because if you're braking too much, they think you're new. They think you're a new driver, and maybe you need some help, or you're just a crazy driver, and they just don't like that. So yeah, don't brake too hard. Try to figure out ways to, if you're coming up upon a stoplight or a green light, what's called a stale green light, which is when you before you enter the intersection, it's already been green for like a while. That's what's called a stale green light. And if you see that, kind of, be aware of that kind of thing, and maybe slow down a little bit so you don't jerk the customer. But yeah, that's a really important one. That can affect your star ratings. And the fourth one here is you never not want to be courteous to your riders. And when I say that is, I mean, being courteous can sometimes be difficult in this job, because you get riders sometimes who can be unthankful, maybe a little bossy, but you always want to be courteous, and you never not want to be courteous. And I'm going to tell you why. Because if you're not courteous, they will 1-star you. They will give you 1 star because they feel like you don't care. And I've discovered Uber can be actually a kind of an emotional type of situation for people, for riders and drivers alike. It's something, because you're both in a car, you're both in this case that could potentially wreck it, whatever. I mean, people can be nervous about riding with someone else they've never known. So they may be a little nervous. So if you do something that that's not courteous to help them throughout the ride, they may think and subconsciously they may think you don't even care. And if they ask for something, or you don't engage to show courtesy, that rider could give you a 4th star, or a 1, depending on how they're feeling that day. So as far as being courteous, you want to be assertive and in charge of that in your life as an Uber driver, because that will increase your 5-star ratings. I guarantee, if you are more cognizant about how courteous you are to these customers, no matter how mad they are, even the bad ones, will give you at least a 4 to 5 star. 4 stars isn't that bad if you get but 1 to 3 is really bad. And courtesy will go a long way to avoid those 1 to 3 stars. So the 5th one and final one is probably one of the most obvious but important ones to understand. Is you never ever want to drive under the influence or with alcohol in your system. And I know you should never ever drive with that, but when it comes in Uber particular, even having 1 beer before driving Uber is bad. I'm telling you, or a well drink or something, because if that customer smells that on you, they may not tell you, but they may go back and report you. And if Uber finds out that you were drinking while you're driving, or right before you're driving, they will deactivate your account as soon as they can. The Uber is so serious about safety with the riders and drivers that if they get a report about that, they will shut you down lickety split. So yes, you never want to drink during or right before a ride while you're doing this, because you're just risking your safety and the rider's safety and your account standing. And who knows, they could, I don't know if anyone's been reported to the police over that. I don't know if that's ever happened, but you definitely don't want to get mixed up in that kind of deal, especially if Uber is something your living depends on. But yeah, those are the 5 things that that I've come up with over the past 2 years that have really, in my personal experience, affected my driving, and I've found ways to try and improve those 5 key aspects of the job. And I'm sure there's more out there, and I'm sure the experienced drivers out there know a few of those things, and you can share those experiences below in the comments. I don't care, and if you want to add to the discussion, that's great. I always encourage that. But anyways, that's really all I have for today. I'll have more videos, and at some point I'll try to figure out a way to do live capture of some of my adventures. But to do that, I have to get consent for some of the riders. So, but anyways, that's the conclusion of this video. Thank you for watching, and again, subscribe and follow me. I'm going to try and put up videos as much as I can. So, thank you for watching. Bye.